app to your smartphone or smart TV. You can also watch online at mymytv.com. My Michigan TV. My.
Get ready for The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's dedicated update show. Events, businesses, and people. Anything and anyone causing a ripple in the community. And now, let's dive in to The Splash Live.
Good morning and welcome to The Splash Live. I am Larry Nyland. Thank you to everyone from West Bloomfield, Keego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, and Orchard Lake for tuning in on this wonderful Monday morning. The Splash Live is Greater West Bloomfield's very own daily TV and radio streaming show. Please watch us live Monday through Friday from 9:30 to 10 a.m. on Civic Center TV. Catch us also on Comcast Channel 15, AT&T Channel 99, on the web at civiccentertv.com, on Civic Center TV's Facebook app, and you can even listen live on 89.3 Lakes FM. The Splash Live is part of Civic Center TV and Lake FM's 90 minutes of live local programming. Taking a look at the weather forecast today, a beautiful fall day on tap with mostly sunny skies and a high of 63 degrees. Tonight, clear down to 48. And then on Tuesday, another great day with sunny skies and a high of about 72. Looking at some local headlines, well, we are a little over 4 weeks from Election Day, and the Keego Harbor Police Department has reiterated what the city's policy is on campaign signs. The police department, in a note on their Facebook page, stated, "In Keego Harbor, you may not put campaign signs or any kind of signs advertising a service, business, or sales on public property or the property of another, including businesses without consent of the property owner. No campaign signs allowed on the easement between sidewalk and street. The city owned a lot on the northeast corner of Orchard Lake Road at Cass Lake Road is also another location where you cannot place campaign signs. The Keego Harbor Code Enforcement and Keego Harbor Police Department will confiscate any signs found at those locations. Your signs will be left at the back door of the Keego Harbor City Hall. You are free to retrieve your signs to use again, but not at the locations listed above. Also, if you are caught placing signs at the listed locations, you can be ticketed, so just don't. Please help Keego Harbor neat." So has anyone out there ever really changed who they were going to vote for based on a yard sign? If anything, I might be apt to not vote for someone if they have a very annoying lawn sign. So let's quit it with the lawn signs. How about that? Looking at another headline here, this past Saturday was World Octopus Day. And like me, you probably forgot to get your favorite octopus a greeting card. Well, the West Bloomfield Township Public Library paid tribute to the octopus by pointing out that we all know about the octopus's 8 tentacles, but did you know that the octopus has 3 hearts and 9 brains? They can also camouflage themselves, shoot ink to impair a predator's senses, and use their strong suckers to taste and smell. And if you want to learn more about the octopus and what their purpose in nature is, learn more about octopuses, with books and documentaries from the West Bloomfield Public Library. Well, it was another big game for the West Bloomfield Lakers football squad on Friday night. They rolled to a 27-0 lead in the first half, then cruised to a 34-3 victory over the Oxford Wildcats. A big moment happened in the pregame of the win over Oxford. West Bloomfield offensive lineman Amir Herring was honored for being part of Under Armour's Next Football's All-American team. On the most recent episode of This Week in Laker Football, our own Tyler Kieft had the chance to talk with Amir about the leadership on the West Bloomfield Lakers team that he helps to initiate as one of the offensive captains.
We have a really experienced team overall, just guys that we have. They experienced the playoff runs that we've had in the last couple of years that we have been a part of the playoffs. Every year, we try to win the state championship here at West Bloomfield. So we have a lot of championship DNA here. And a lot of the guys, that's on our roster has played in, the big playoff games that we've had over the last couple of years. Some of us was on the state championship team that we won. And just overall, just the leadership with the guys, the captains, we just enforce really being the best you can be and giving 110% every time you're on the field because nothing is promised.
On the offensive line, it's such a key to having a great offense. It's being able to do that work in the trenches, give your quarterback time, open up holes for your running back, and give your team the options to look through their progressions and make the right decision offensively. What does it take to be a great offensive lineman?
Just overall, just being, a sponge really. Technique-wise, we have Coach Garrett. He's a really good offensive line coach, puts us in the right positions, gives us the right technique to perform to our best ability and maximize our potential really on the field. So overall, just being a great lineman is just really being physical, making sure you know where you need to go, your first step, stance, being in the right positions in the right place, and also, trusting everybody that they're going to do their job also. the receivers, the running backs, the quarterbacks. So I believe in all my teammates, and I trust in them 110% to do their job. And the other 4 guys on the offensive line, I believe in them because they're all my brothers, really. Everybody on the team is like my brother.
This week, the Lakers have another big game as they travel on the road to take on Southfield A&T. The Warriors have only 1 loss on the season and are undefeated in OAA play. As always, tune into the live game on Civic Center TV and WBTV. If you don't have time to sit down and watch it, listen on the go at 89.3 Lakes FM. And a reminder that this week's game will be kicking off a tad later than normal at 7:40 p.m. this Friday, October 14th. We're going to take a short break here on the Splash Live, and when we get back, I'll be talking with Ronson Webster, head coach of the Lady Lakers swim team, and a couple of his swimmers. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
Let's whoop it up for these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the cheering going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head on, visit michigan.gov/flu.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live. I am Larry Nyland. Well, the West Bloomfield Lakers football squad gets a lot of the limelight, but another team who is doing some great stuff over at the high school is the Lady Lakers swim team. Joining us now is their head coach, Ronson Webster, and a couple of the swimmers, Elizabeth Eichbrecht and Charlotte Brazier. I hope I got those names correct.
Yeah, you did.
So how's everybody doing this morning?
Good.
So if I could start with you, Ronson, could you just talk a little bit about your background and what brought you to West Bloomfield to be the Lady Lakers coach?
I've been coaching now for about 10 years. I started out at Plymouth High School as the assistant over there. We had a really successful season, or a couple seasons where we went undefeated, won division championships. I moved on to Walled Lake Western and head coached over there. And then I went to Lifetime and I was a regional coach. I just recently started my own club up here at West Bloomfield. And with doing that, I took over the boys high school team. We took down our first record on the board. And then I took over the middle school and we took down 5 records. And then now I'm here with these wonderful ladies with them.
So whenever I have athletes on, I always like to ask them, what started your passion for swimming? Elizabeth, let's start with you. How did you begin swimming, and what is it about swimming that makes you like it so much?
Well, I actually didn't start swimming on a team until I was 8 or 9. I think it was 8. I've actually swum with Bronson for my entire swimming career. And I think one of the things I like most about swimming is making all of my friends that I have, like Charlotte, and all my friends all around the state.
And Charlotte, how about you?
So I joined a summer club when I was like 8. Well, yeah, the summer I was turning 8. And then once I got to middle school, like that's when I kind of started swimming year round with different club teams and here or there. And that was kind of like where I first actually started like really caring about swim. And now I'm here and I love it. And yeah.
So I was not a swimmer when I was in school, but one of my good friends was on the swim team. And whenever I would talk to him, it would always be like, "Oh, what are you doing? I'm going swimming. I'm going to swim practice. I'm swimming." I'm swimming. Like it was swimming all the time. So is there ever any respite, or are you guys practicing and swimming like all throughout the day and most days of the week?
Well, I tell the girls sleep is actually extremely important. So we practice 5 days a week, right after school. I mean, we're not swimming all the time. We don't do as many Saturdays as I'd like, but most of the time we're doing competitions. But again, I think it's super important. It's equally important to make sure that they're having the rest they need to make sure that they're recovering.
And let's talk a little bit about this season so far. How have you guys been doing, and what kind of outlook do you have for the rest of the year?
Oh, we've been doing so far. We've actually had a very successful season. Even though we haven't had very many like overall meet wins, there's still been a lot of individual success. Every meet, everyone keeps improving on the entire team, and it's a lot more of a positive environment now that Ronson's here, and it's just everybody keeps coming and like wanting to join swim. So that's something that's really good. That's positive this year.
And so, Elizabeth, I know you've broken. Is it one Oakland County record, or have there been multiple records that you've already broken so far this year?
Is the 200 for that?
She's broken so many records she can't keep track anymore.
Well, the one I don't know if it counts because I went under the record this past Saturday, but I don't know if it counts.
I'm going to say it counts. Congratulations.
Yeah.
So now are you only a freshman, Elizabeth? And so like, does Ronson, maybe you're a better indicator of this, does she have room for growth? Can she get faster? Can she still get better?
Absolutely. There's so many things that we haven't even tapped into yet. And as a coach, I've kind of laid back on certain things because we wanted her to master certain things before we continue to move forward with other things in our training.
So I know in swim meets, there's some individual events, and then there's relay events. Are there some swimmers that are better at like a relay event than they are an individual? And what kind of a mindset goes into each of those? If you ladies would like to just talk about that a little bit.
I think it just depends on the person. Some people just do better relays because it's for a team, and I've like people just work like harder, not work harder, but become like it's like almost the pressure putting them, making them go faster. Say if they're going for the cut, like the state cut or something. But then others don't like the pressure and they do better individually. Just standard ones. Yeah.
So now, do both of you have ideas to swim at the next level to be collegiate swimmers?
I have not decided if I'm going to be a collegiate swimmer or not yet. But I think Elizabeth wants to, for sure.
It would be the goal, yeah. I would love to.
Yeah.
So what are the powerhouse college schools for swimming? You know, like locally, I was Michigan State if you were a football player, but where, like, are there state schools or are there national schools that are great swimming schools?
Yeah, Michigan is one of the best. Michigan, Texas, Florida,
Stanford.
Yeah, those are some of the best ones.
So, Ronson, I want to ask you about the recruiting. Like, I know even though it's high school, there is some recruiting that goes on where you try to find kids who might be good swimmers who want to come to a school. Does it exist in swimming where like you find and you scout kids and you say, hey, I have a great opportunity for you here at West Bloomfield High School?
Not really. Most of our success comes from the development of the swimmers. So we've had a lot of swimmers that joined the team that couldn't swim really well, and now they're having personal bests. Almost our entire team has hit their best times from last year when they were at Liege with their tech suits on. I don't think you need to recruit. I think it's the development on the team. I think it's the inspiration that we give to the team, the bond and the chemistry between the players, our swimmers. We're very much like a swim family, and the support that the girls give each other is ultimately like that. That's a huge push for us in becoming successful.
So who's up next on the schedule for the Lady Lakers?
Rochester.
And are they a good team?
Yes.
Can you like you can in like football or basketball? Can you scout the opposing team, or is it just like, hey, just jump in the pool and swim as fast as you can?
I actually study every swimmer's times, and I've watched them in other meets. If we go against them, so when I write a lineup for a swim meet, I may write it 15, maybe even 20 different times, and like try to score it out each time to try to make sure, since we have a small team, that we can optimize our scoring.
So before we let you go, ladies, I'd just like to know what you like to do when you're not swimming. What do you do in your free time? Charlotte, how about you?
I love fashion, so I'm always kind of shopping or being in fashion or hanging out with my friends. Yeah, I also play tennis and ski, so that's also other sports that I do.
And Elizabeth?
I just swim. Charlotte, you ski and tennis, and I just swim. I like hanging out with my friends. A lot of my friends also have busy schedules because most of them are swimmers as well. So it's also hard to find a time.
All right. Well, I would like to thank all of you for taking time out this morning to join us. That's Coach Ronson Webster, Elizabeth Eichbrecht, and Charlotte Brazier. Thank you so much from the West Bloomfield Lady Lakers swim team.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break here on the Splash Live. When we come back, we'll check in with our good friends at West Bloomfield Parks. Stay tuned.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head on, visit michigan.gov/flu. Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer. Because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
You know, it's peaceful, it's quiet, and the noise and stress of life can sometimes disappear.
It's the Great Lakes water. And so what people do ends up in our waterways.
It's for our health and safety, it's for our economy, it's for protecting the environment that we all enjoy and we all need to survive.
So clearing storm drains and the areas nearby of trash and leaves helps keep them for rain only.
We're all about one water in this region. We're all connected. We all have a role.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live. I am Larry Nyland. Well, as the weather starts to get colder here in Michigan, that means it's time for a lot of the area's creatures to seek refuge from the cooler temps. Joining us now to discuss some of these animals and other nature goings-on is David Anthony, West Bloomfield Parks naturalist. David, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Larry.
So, David, could you start out by telling us a little bit about your background and how you came to work for West Bloomfield Parks?
Yeah, so I used to work down on Belle Isle for the Detroit Zoological Society. So I did a lot of programs down there for family and community groups. And then I've been working for West Bloomfield Parks for the last 6 months.
So I know in Belle Isle, they used to have a big zoo there. That's not in any way still functioning, is it?
No, it's just sitting. I think they have plans to do something with it. What it is, I'm not quite sure.
And so, what exactly did you do when you worked down at Belle Isle for the zoo? Did you perform tours, or did you like show off some natural stuff to visitors there, kids and things?
Yeah, I did tours for family groups, and then my main program was called Nature Tots, which was a program for caregivers and their young kids to sort of find fun and creative ways to spend outside time together. And then I also got to do deer feedings as well.
How many deer are there, do you roughly, on Belle Isle?
So the deer that we used to have were fallow deer. Those were the deer that used to roam the island, and I believe there's only 2 of them left, and all of them are currently at the zoo.
Okay. So talk a little bit about your role with West Bloomfield Parks. What exactly, as a park naturalist, do you do there? We do, Lauren Azuri is a good friend of ours. We have her on all the time.
Yeah. So basically, as a naturalist, I'm sort of teaching people about nature. And then here for West Bloomfield Parks, I'm in charge of private nature appointments and animal care. So for private nature appointments, those would be field trips, and then programs for community groups, family groups, or homeschool groups. And some of my favorite programs are, my favorite program is called Fur, Fins, and Feathers. And it's a great way for people to sort of learn about the unique features of each animal group. And then for animal care, I get to take care of a red-eared slider, a Butler's garter snake, a gray tree frog, a box turtle, and a tiger salamander. Now, these animals aren't pets, but they're sort of used to teach people about their species. And they're a great way for people to sort of discover and appreciate the nature that they have close to home.
So I didn't even know when I started researching the tiger salamander, I did not even know that this was something that was existed in Michigan. Could you talk a little bit about that salamander, and if they are prevalent, how come we never see them?
Well, let me grab ours here.
Okay.
So here he is right here. So tiger salamanders, they're called tiger salamanders because they have stripes, kind of like a tiger. Ours, though, he's sort of olive with brown spots. And then these are the largest land salamanders that live in Michigan. They can be anywhere from 7 to 13 inches long. And the reason we don't sort of see them a lot is because they're a type of mole salamander. So they spend most of their lives living underground. And if you can see, it might be a little hard here. He has really tiny eyes. So it's another way you can sort of tell that they like to spend time underground.
So are they more prevalent in like the lower peninsula, or would you see them on the upper peninsula as well?
I think you can find them in the upper peninsula. I've only ever seen one in the wild. So most people, I think, come across them when they might be out in their yards gardening, and they might sort of accidentally dig one up when they're trying to plant some vegetables or something like that.
And so now that we are getting into the colder months, so where will a tiger salamander go during the winter?
So in the wintertime, they'll like to sort of spend it in an animal den or burrow, or if the soil is soft enough, they'll like to dig underground to try and get below the frost line.
It always amazes me that animals like this in the animal kingdom can survive through a Michigan winter. I was in my garage the other day. I found a praying mantis that it was kind of clinging to the wall, and I felt bad. I was like, I don't think this guy wants to spend his whole winter in my garage. So I took him out and I put him on a tree. But where would do praying mantises? Can they survive in the winter?
The adults, no. The babies, yes. The adults, as soon as the cold comes, they'll die off. But the babies will sort of spend the winter in an egg case. And then once spring arrives, they'll hatch out, and each egg case could have anywhere from 200 to 300 little baby praying mantises inside of it. And you might sort of find them on like a plant stem, and they're sort of like a brown, sort of spongy, circular thing.
Now, is that tiger salamander, is that considered a reptile, or is that more of like an amphibious?
So these are amphibians, just like frogs and toads. So like a lot of amphibians, they need good, clean water. So anytime you find a lot of frogs or toads or salamanders, it means the water quality in that area is pretty good.
So can I actually I saw a toad wandering around my place the other day too. Now, can toads, do they survive in the water over the winter, or can
Toads, just like the tiger salamander, they'll like to sort of dig underground to get below the frost line.
And then just like the tiger salamanders, that do they enter some sort of like hibernation stage during the winter? Or
And they'll sort of just spend the winter underground, and once it rains in the springtime, they'll come up and they're basically looking for a mate, and then they'll sort of lay eggs, maybe eat, and then head back underground.
So I know there's some other programs at West Bloomfield Parks that you like to be a part of, and one of them is called Hero Hike. Could you talk a little bit about Hero Hike?
Yeah, so for a hero hike, people will get to hike with one of our local firefighters, and then we encourage them to come dress as their favorite hero. My favorite hero, I think, is Chuck Norris, so I might come dressed as him, maybe with a mullet or a bandana or something like that. I don't know. I'll figure it out probably a couple days before we have the event.
So can I ask what created your love for Chuck Norris?
Just growing up, a lot of the action movies, and to this day, when I watch them, it sort of just takes me back to when I was a child, and just a lot of the great times I spent with my brothers and my family and all that. So my kids haven't, they don't have the same love for Chuck Norris as I do, but maybe one day. Maybe one day
they'll wise up when they get older.
Yeah, hopefully.
Another one. How about Astronomy Hike? What goes on there?
So for the Astronomy Hike, we'll have the Oakland Astronomy Club, and then we'll get to explore the trail system and the solar system after dark.
And then this one, this is a very intriguing name here, Sasquatch Soup. Now, did West Bloomfield Parks discover a Sasquatch? Is this some breaking news that you want to talk about? But you wouldn't have turned it into soup. That would seem unlike what you folks do at the West Bloomfield Parks. What is Sasquatch Soup?
So there might be some people that think there's a Sasquatch roaming around West Bloomfield Parks, but I don't think there is one. But the Sasquatch Soup program, it's going to be a really fun family program where people get to read a story, go for a hike, and then do a scavenger hunt. Well, they'll get to collect ingredients to make their own Sasquatch soup. So basically a soup, if Sasquatch were real, maybe they would find the soup that people would make appetizing, and then they would eat it if they were hungry enough, I guess.
Well, let me ask you this. Who would win in a battle of Sasquatch versus Chuck Norris?
If the website is true, probably Chuck Norris.
Okay, yes. That's spoken like a true Chuck Norris fan. Anything else that you want to touch on real quick? Any events going on that you want to talk about real quick?
So basically, if people are sort of interested in any of our field trips or our programs, they can check out our website at www.wbparks.org, and they can find all the information they need right there.
All right, David, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning, and thank you and your team at the West Bloomfield Parks for doing all the great work that you do there.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Have a good day.
That is David Anthony from West Bloomfield Parks. I want to thank him, and also Ronson Webster, coach of the West Bloomfield Laker ladies swim team. I want to thank all of our viewers for hanging out with us on the Splash Live. I am Larry Nellen. That's going to do it for us. We will see you tomorrow, West Bloomfield.